Back to Sunday House Call, and it is time now for Myth or Fact. Dr. Rosenfeld tells us every week one thing, whether or not it's true, and this has to do with hair and aging. There are actually some folks who say your hair can literally turn gray or white overnight. Come on, Doc, true or false?
False. And, you know, you read in novels about somebody who's under great stress, and usually a woman, and she awakened the next day and her hair was white. Well, that doesn't happen. First of all, white is not a color. White represents the loss of pigment in hair, and that takes months to happen. So when you read about somebody very upset and they lost their hair and or their hair became white overnight, it may be very good in a novel, but it doesn't happen in real life. It takes months for hair to change color. White is not a color. White is the absence of color, and it takes months for hair to turn gray.
Or it never happens, Doc. Thank you so much.
Hi, Doctor. Time now for some viewer email. You know, Dr. Rosenfeld reads all the emails he gets and answers a lot of them. This one's from Rudy in San Antonio, who wrote the doctor that if a person's sugar is around 70, can they skip insulin or should they go ahead and take it anyway? My mom, he says, is insulin dependent, but if I still give her the insulin, she gets the shake so badly now that I skip it if it's low. Doctor, what about that?
Well, I assume that your mother is diabetic, and people with diabetes generally have high blood sugars, and most of them, or many of them, are insulin dependent. Insulin lowers blood sugar. Now, there's no set dosage for insulin. It varies from person to person. Some people need more than others, and what you do is you determine the insulin dosage based on the response of the patient to insulin. Now, in your mother's case, you have to monitor her blood sugar. If her blood sugar is 70 and she's feeling well, she does not need any insulin at that time. You monitor it several hours later, and if it's up to 200, you give her the appropriate dosage of insulin, and you monitor to see over a period of time how much insulin she needs every day. It takes a few weeks to determine the ongoing dose, but even then, you should always monitor the sugar before you administer the insulin.
Thank you, Doctor. Now, one for the ladies on something else. We know, grown women know, it's important to keep track of your monthly cycle. It can often alert you to a health problem. But there's a new study that says even young teenage girls should begin keeping track. What is the concern for teen girls, Doc? Well,
traditionally, irregular periods in middle-aged women have generally been associated with problems. They can develop cardiac problems, they can become diabetic, but now we are noticing that in younger women, fluctuations in blood sugar like this can cause diabetes, permanent, and heart disease, and should be monitored and treated.
Okay, Doctor, thank you.
All right, Doc. Well, you know, this is the